If you've been asleep since Friday, Trump dropped some bombs on Iran to destroy their nuclear facilities. Here's a really quick overview of exactly what they did, the bombs and stuff that were dropped.
Eastern Time. That, according to General Dan Kame, 12 massive ordnance penetrator bunker buster bombs were dropped at the underground mountain uranium enrichment complex at Fordo. The Pentagon does not yet know whether the sites were destroyed.
12 bunker bombs. People were wondering if they used any bunker bombs. They used, they've used 14 total. 12 at the Fordo.
Pending a complete bomb damage assessment. What we can say is that the Iranians did not see the B-2s coming. In fact, General Kane said that they were unaware of any shots fired at the package, that's the B-2 package, on the way out. Iran's fighter jets did not fly, and it appears that Iran's surface-to-air missile systems did not see the U.S. warplanes throughout the mission.
All right, so 14 bunker bombs, 75 precision guided weapons, 125 U.S. military aircraft, which is so much more than I would have thought. But okay, that's what happened. And of course, that's like the news of the decade right now. This isn't really about like how I feel about it or anything like that. I'm more so just interested to see the reactions from other world leaders, in particular Sir Keir Starmer. I mean, there's all sorts of aspects to this, like whether or not we should have done it, obviously. I mean, as someone born and can remember going into Iraq under the pretense of, oh, they have weapons of mass destruction, it's a little bit traumatizing to hear that used as like the reasoning to bomb them. And of course, there was no congressional approval for the attack. Is this an act of war? I think we would consider it an act of war if someone did that to us. So, anyway. Let's see what Keir Starmer has to say. Yeah.
Prime Minister, lots of people watching you speak this morning will be very worried about the news overnight that the US has carried out 3 strikes on Iran. Does the UK support US strikes against Iran?
This is what I want to know. I want to know how our allies feel about it.
Well, we've long had concerns about the Iranian nuclear program and been very clear that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The US has now taken action to alleviate that threat. It is important that we now de-escalate the situation, stabilise the region, and get the parties back around the table to negotiate. And I've been speaking with international leaders this morning to that end. So I want to reassure the British public.
I have to say, because Trump said something kind of similar about like, now is the time for peace. That's the first thing he said after dropping the bombs, which is kind of interesting. You drop some major bombs, like how many, like 40 bombs from 125 fighter jets, and then you say it's time for peace. Okay. I guess I get the idea that it's like, hey, it's time for peace or else, like, I mean, that's your only option, okay? So I get that.
That we're doing everything we can to stabilise the situation, to de-escalate the situation, and to get to a negotiated outcome. But I'm very clear in my own mind that Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. That is the...
And I've heard that this about Iran having a nuclear weapon or working toward a nuke for like 20 years. So I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know. Like, I feel like we just live in a world of post-information, post-truth, knowing what's true or fake anymore. I don't know. Was Iran a week away from making a nuke? How would I know? I don't know. How am I supposed to know? I've been hearing that for a long time. I can say that.
The greatest threat to stability in the region.
Your solution to no nuclear weapon, though, was diplomatic routes, not strike.
They were clearly trying to make a bomb, right? They were in a nuke facility. They built a nuclear facility underground.
The UK has been clear no military action can put an end to Iran's nuclear capabilities, and the language on both sides this morning is worrying. President Trump has said future attacks would be far greater and a lot easier. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Iran has said the events overnight will have everlasting consequences. Do you agree escalation seems very real? And are you prepared to offer military support, UK military support,
Oh, there's the question.
if needed?
I guess let me just say before Keir, hopefully it's not needed. Hopefully the U.S. doesn't need support, and hopefully we don't even need to do any more military actions, you know? That's kind of the I mean, Trump promised over and over no more wars. So there certainly better not be like a massive invasion of Iran or anything. That would be pretty messed up.
Well, my focus is on de-escalating the situation. I accept your challenge that there is a risk of escalation. That's a risk to the region. It's a risk beyond the region. And that's why all our focus has been on de-escalating, getting people back around to negotiate what is a very real threat in relation to the nuclear programme. In relation to the UK, we were not involved in the attack. We were given due notice, as we would expect as close allies to the US. And we have been moving assets to the region to make sure that we're in a position to protect our own interests, our personnel and our assets, and of course those of our allies.
Prime Minister, if Iran attacks the US, that would be an attack on a NATO ally. If they attack bases, etc., in the region, it could trigger Article 5. Are you prepared for that, and would the UK become involved?
Well, I'm not going to speculate about what may happen because all of my focus is on de-escalation. But I do want to reassure the public we have taken all necessary measures to protect UK interest, UK personnel, and to work with our allies to protect their interests as well. That's what you would expect. But my focus is on de-escalating this situation, dealing with the threat that is that nuclear programme, but getting the parties around the table to negotiate an outcome to this.
On Tuesday morning, you said how important de-escalation was.
It's a lot of political speak, you know what I mean? I appreciate him. I appreciate how he's diplomatic about the situation. He's not giving very useful answers, but that's also because the situation's up in the air. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So, yeah, I get it.
This was at the G7. You told me you didn't think a US attack was imminent. You sat next to President Trump at the G7 dinner of leaders. You said nothing the president said suggests he's about to get involved in this conflict. On the contrary, here we are. He has struck Iran. He's done exactly the opposite of what you said you thought he was going to do. Do you feel foolish,
That's the scary thing about Trump, huh? You never know.
Frustrated that he's not listening?
Well, it's clearly a fast-moving situation, and there's been a huge amount of discussions in the days since the G7 ended, and the US has now taken the action to alleviate the threat that Iran's nuclear program poses. My position...
clearly Trump was trying to, he said he would wait 2 weeks, and then he just did it like 2 days later. So clearly he was trying to throw everybody off, including the Iranians, as far as, there not being an attack.
Throughout has been as a calling for de-escalation.
Well, either that or he just decided 2 days later, screw this, and just did it. I don't know. That's possible.
To get people around the table to negotiate a better outcome diplomatically. And I've been talking to international leaders in recent days, but particularly intensely this morning. We'll continue to do so during the course of today.
And just final question, Prime Minister, what's your message to British citizens? Are you getting them out of the region now?
Well, for British citizens, we've been saying for some time to register their presence. And so far as Israel is concerned...
What? To register their presence?
We've been saying for some time to register their presence.
I don't know what that means.
And so far as Israel is concerned, just as soon as we can get charter flights off, we will do so. But I urge all citizens to make contact with the Foreign Office so that we can facilitate whatever support is needed.
Okay, Prime Minister, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, let's see some more reactions. I don't know why they sped up this video. I don't need to watch Trump.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons.
Okay. All right. I mean, obviously that's what Netanyahu's going to say, so no surprise there, I guess. I mean, I see, I'm kind of wary anytime it's like someone's kind of gassing up, oh, so amazing. So it's so amazing you drop bombs. It's like, okay, all right, okay. I see. That's definitely Lay's approve. And everybody knows that. Saudi Arabia need to exert all possible efforts to exercise restraint. Okay. I guess he's speaking of both sides there. Iran's nuclear program was a threat to international peace. Okay. Fair enough, I guess. Okay, so there's a little bit of support from Australia. New Zealand supports effort towards diplomacy. Wants a war. Although that is basically what we have right now. Surprise, Cuba doesn't approve. I'm looking for some European leaders, to be honest. I mean, that's just mostly what I'm interested in. No offense, South America. Where's he from? Antonio Guterres. Sorry if I should know this. It is what it is. I don't know. There's lots of things I don't know. Portuguese. Portugal. He's alarmed. Okay. I think we're all a little bit alarmed. Like, whoa, 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 whoa! Didn't know that was happening right now. Hamas condemns it. Oh wow, shocking. Shocking. Come on. The Houthis condemn it, guys. We knew that. Okay, I guess a lot of European leaders haven't said anything. Russia says on Telegram, Trump, who came in as a peacemaker president, has started a new war for the U.S. Fair criticism. A French foreign minister. France is convinced that a lasting resolution to this issue requires a negotiated solution within the framework of the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Italian foreign minister, now we hope that after this attack, which caused massive damage to nuclear weapons production and posed a threat to the entire region, a de-escalation can begin and Iran can sit down at the negotiating table. All right, I think I got the gist of it. It seems like a lot of people cautiously kind of supporting, hey, we don't want Iran to have nukes, but we want a diplomatic ending. Got it. Doesn't seem like very many people would support a full-scale war, like a boots-on-the-ground war. All right. I think I got what I wanted. I know it's a very contentious issue, so I'm sorry if I said anything to offend anybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.